blaming or praising yourself when something happens and you see yourself as the reason why something worked out or why something didn't work out.
What is going on, guys? My name is August,
And I'm Milo.
and welcome back to Ask Why Podcast. So today we're going to be talking about the Locus of Control. We're basically just going to look into why certain people have different outlooks on motivation, how you can put blame on different things, whether you blame the things around you or you blame yourself, and what impacts that can have on you. A lot of interesting stuff.
And how this concept a little bit can help you to keep yourself motivated if you use it properly.
Yeah. There's a lot of little things about it that can be interesting for conversation. So let's get into it. Do you want to give us a little definition?
So the locus of control is the degree to which you believe you have control over your life.
Yeah. So whether that's like internal or external, it can also be the locus is like a placement on a spectrum. So you definitely don't fall under strictly internal or strictly external. There's like a little balance of both that you can have.
Yeah, it's a spectrum, so it's not black and white once again.
Yeah, there's different situations for everything.
So there's two types of locus of control. There's internal and external. Internal locus of control is blaming or praising yourself when something happens and you see yourself as the reason why something worked out or why something didn't work out. Whereas
External is more like you blame or praise others for events that happen around your life. So for instance, for external, if you get fired and you're trying to blame something, you're not going to blame yourself. You're going to blame, oh, it was shitty weather today. Oh, my boss was upset today. It was a Saturday, like whatever it may be.
But you're not going to blame yourself for being the reason you got fired. It's not because of you. It's because of everything else.
It's not your fault. It's not your actions. It's something else. So the opposite scale of that, for like an internal person, if they get fired, they're going to take it as I didn't work hard enough. I didn't try to exceed my expectations, whatever it may be.
Yeah, but they're going to blame themselves for the reason being fired. Nothing else. It has nothing to do with the weather or whatnot. It's because what they were doing, their actions got them fired.
And so people, with all the studies that's been going on, most people find an internal locus of control to be much more beneficial, purely for the reason that it keeps you motivated. Whenever you have something bad going on in your life, you can manage to like tell yourself that it's you and that you can change.
And it's important too because it keeps yourself motivated. Because for example, if you're someone dependent on the weather, then you wake up one day it's raining, then I can't do all these things because of the weather. Whereas if you're someone with an internal locus of control, doesn't matter what the weather is because you know what you can do and whatnot. So,
and it's funny because like it seems like when you talk about an external locus of control, it's like me myself, I see myself a little bit more as like external. There's certain things like it seems so clear when you talk about it like situationally like we are right now, but like when you're faced with the situation, like to me, like if I saw that it was raining one day and I wanted to walk outside, I wouldn't let that stop me, of course. But like some people, that is like a big gate to like cross, like people to will let that.
For me, honestly, it depends on
life.
the day. Yeah, some days I feel like I would walk outside, and if it's raining, that could have a bigger impact on me. And some other days I know what I'm going to do, so the weather has no impact on me.
Everybody has like their own situations and their own like little pet peeves as to what affects them more. But it's cool that you say that like someday the weather will be way more important than any other day, and then some other days it's completely insignificant.
But it's also important to realize those days where like the weather and external forces impact you more than usually, then like you realize that and realize all these things are external. Like don't control any of these things. So you have to remind yourself that and remind what you can control, or else that's unhealthy thinking. If you're thinking about something you can't actually control, then that's not a positive thing to do.
Yeah.
How did this concept become a thing, and how was it developed? What came up for someone to be interested and research this concept?
It was in 1954, and there was this guy called Julian B. Roeder, I'm not sure.
One of the two.
He was studying a lot of things in personality psychology, and he had a class of students that were also very passionate about that. and a lot of the early studies came from him as well as a lot of his students. So a lot of base work came from him and his students. But
he like did it with his class?
Yeah, but throughout the years, there's been hundreds and hundreds of studies with very not different points of views, but different approaches to like assessing the locus of control. So
yeah, it's such a changing thing. Once again, the way I feel like differently every day. One day I feel like I have external, one day internal. Then how can you make a study on that?
Yeah, it's very like the imposter syndrome. I think it's very new and fresh. Most of the like pivotal research studies came in like the late 90s, so still very recent. Still very recent. But yeah, there's not much like background of it because it's still very like able to have more research done. There's not much like specifics.
So it's just that one guy with his class that
came up with the base foundation of the locus of control. So he noticed that some students were more or less motivated based on certain words, and he was the one that showed people that there is an internal and external.
Yeah.
He made that clear definition.
Oh, in another video, I saw that the way they found out or to prove that it was a real concept, in schools, they took a group of students, they all took the same test. And then half of the students, they were told that they did really well because they were smart. And then the other half were told they did really well because of the hard work they put in. Yeah. And then they analyzed how they reacted with that and the work they put in after. And they saw that the students that were told that they did well on the test because they worked hard, they were more interested in doing harder challenges after. When the students that were told it was just because they were smart, they were quickly demotivated and
lost passion and interest for the task because they just didn't see the value of it since they were smart. But it's funny that they bring that up because like you can see the value of like words, the like intrinsic meaning of it, to tell a kid, even if he's 6 years old, he knows the difference between smart and hardworking. And smart is something that they can't change, but hardworking is something that everyone has control over. So it's very, I think, powerful to know that difference and to know how to not set your kids straight, but like but know how to like keep them grounded, you know.
I'm confused. Isn't internal locus of control the thing that's good?
Yeah.
Okay, but I just said the students that were told that they did well because they were smart, then they got demotivated.
No, the kids that were told they were smart got demotivated because being smart is external. Even though smart is like an internal thing, external because it's not something you can control. You can't change the fact that you're smart. You can't.
Yeah, I was confused because I thought those students were told that they were smart and that being an internal thing because being smart is like you, but no, that's external. Okay.
So that's the hard part. That's the confusing thing. But anything that you can control is internal. Anything that is outside of your control is external. Whether it's like reinforcing someone or you yourself putting it on those factors.
Okay, this might be a special like occasion, but can't you control how smart you are?
I mean, you can train it, and but training it is internal. You're studying a lot. You're working hard. If you're just by default smart, kids will expect like, oh, I'm already smart. I don't really need to study that hard for this test because I know I'm smart, so I'm going to pass it. Compared to a kid that's like, oh, I'm not that smart, so I better study so I can get a good grade.
Okay.
Regardless of like that other kid may be smart, but the kid that works harder is going to be fresher for the test. Given we've talked about the school system and how shitty it works and how studying is all you need to do to pass your grade and get your little A+ meat grade on your paper. So, yeah.
That's confusing though. How, I don't, for me, being smart, that's not an external thing. That's confusing.
Well, being smart is physically internal.
Exactly, and something you can change. That's you're in control.
Yeah, but you can't make yourself smarter.
Yeah, like, read 20 books a day, you'll become smarter.
Isn't that working harder though?
Yeah. Good point. But
yeah. But yeah, no, I mean it's like we said, it's a lot of gray area, and I'm sure there's like certain situations where they're like not very certain of how
Yeah.
it works very well. But
overall, we can see how having an internal focus of control is beneficial.
Yeah, just putting yourself in control of your own life, pretty much. Just whatever happens, it's up to you, and you can change that, whether good or bad. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a quote my mom always told me in French: "Si tu veux, tu peux." Like, if you want to do it, you can. And that's the same thing here. Like,
yeah,
whatever you think of yourself, that's what will come out.
So let's go a little bit into how you can shift your own and others' locus of control, whether it's like with daily actions or early on in parenting, like we talked about earlier with reinforcing your kids. What do you think is useful for trying to shift that your own and others?
Well, from the experiment with the kids in class and the students like that, then, for example, for people around you, friends, family, doesn't matter. If someone accomplished something, then tell them it's because of the work they put in and things they did, not because the situation they were put in. Reinforce that it was them that got them there.
Yeah.
And same thing for yourself. Like, do it for your friends and people around you, but do it yourself. If you fix something in your life, then take a second, realize you did that. The changes you made got you to where you are today.
Yeah.
And then remind yourself of that. And that's...
Yeah. There was another thing about like kids early on that I saw in a TED Talk, which was really interesting. She said that another really important thing, like that works well hand in hand with you working hard and stuff like that, is to like push kids to try new things and to always like tell them to pursue it, because trying new things lets them know that they're able to do whatever they want in the world. If it's riding a bike and they learn how to ride a bike, that could be very strong in a kid's development and like understanding that whatever they put their mind to could
that proves to yourself that you can do whatever. It reinforces your internal locus of control. You, for example, if I wanted to go parachuting right now and I've never done that in my life and I actually do it, then like I can think of it. Yesterday I knew nothing about parachuting, I did it today. Like, that's because I chose to do it, and that just reinforces that mindset.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be for kids, but also for anybody. Like, just push others to try new things and reinforce your internal locus of control.
Yeah, no, it's very important.
I also put self-actualization, because I think that no matter what the issue is that you're tackling, you have to believe in it yourself. So believe that your choices do have an impact on the future. There's a reason that internal people are more successful in a business or academic standpoint. So if you're lacking in that department, then having an internal locus of control could be something to work towards. Yeah.
And the same way of admitting that to yourself is sometimes help surrounding yourself with a group or a circle of people that value the same things as you and don't bring out negative things, don't blame, that don't have a negative impact on you, and always reminding you of external forces that could go wrong. Like, if you're telling of your friend, I want to go to this, and they're like, what if it rains? What if this person shows up? Like, and if you have those friends, like, just reinforce it the other way and tell them, like, stuff like that happens. And
there's definitely some importance to like who you surround yourself with. Because some people could, like, sometimes some people do need that reinforcement, and some people really need to avoid that reinforcement. So just know where you fall on that spectrum. And
if there are people you're close with, then share your opinion. If they're not, then do your own thing yourself first, and then ask around.
Yeah. And lastly, I also put perspective, because I think that even though being internal is a more beneficial thing for your characteristics, I think having too many internal qualities as compared to having too many external qualities, both can be very harmful. And I think those are more harmful than falling anywhere in the middle. So
like, humble yourself a little bit.
On one side, humble yourself. On the other, like, give yourself a break if you're blaming yourself every single day for every, like, you took the trash out on Tuesday and no one came to pick up the trash. Don't kill yourself over that. You know? So
and it's important to realize the things you do have control over and the things you don't. So you actually pressure yourself on things you can have an impact on, because that's important too. You can go crazy if you're trying to change something you can't control. Then
you got to just be careful, like, what you assess blame to. So why do you think that internal is better than external overall.
Well, the same way I said earlier, how you can just walk out, and then if it's raining, that can like throw your whole day off. Then you're being dependent on things you can't control. So it's really tough to live the life you want when you're dependent on so many other things. When if you think yourself as what gets you from point A to point B, then no matter what gets in your way, whether people like whatever, you still get to where you want to go because you're only dependent on yourself.
Yeah. I think it's also important to remember that like, yes, internal is better than external, but there's a real like sweet spot between the two. Like focus a little more on internal so you got that motivation. But
yeah, but keep in mind, for example, if you were planning to go running today and it's raining and you decide to go running for 30 minutes instead of an hour, like that's okay. Sometimes external things impact you, but then there's always balance.
Yeah, I think it's what you said right there was big. Letting it impact you is always good, but letting it affect you like your day-to-day life in terms of your actions, that's different.
Exactly.
And that's the extra step that you gotta sometimes avoid when you're more internal or more external. Sorry.
You know, everyone knows themselves better than anyone else. So know where you're at, and if something does impact you a little bit, that's okay. But think about it and balance it out.
And also, I was gonna say, like, for some people, like internal, external, like some people, that's all BS. Like there's certain specific cases, of course, of like unique life experiences, but some people will have this external outlook and think that, oh, is it because I'm external? No, it's also possible that like you do have a lot of things going on that are out of your control. So be like honest with yourself in your assessment, you know. And there's also like tests you can do online to find out if you fall onto the spectrum or not.
Yeah, and regardless, don't live by this concept. This is just interesting
little category.
Yeah, then you can help some things in your life, but don't live by this, and don't overthink every time you make a decision. Like, oh, was I blaming myself for external causes? Only do that if it had impacted you.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that don't live by it. Like it's just some form of like structure if you need it.
Yeah,
more or less, like just giving you a way to like analyze yourself in a way.
In this case, ignorance is bliss. Like if you don't have problems, don't overthink it. But then if you see yourself blaming yourself or other things, then
you can draw
think about
lines.
It.
Then
But if you're not there, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
There's one quote that I read about this topic that I really liked that said, "The harder you work, the luckier you get."
Yeah.
Which shows that sometimes you work a lot and things don't end up the way you want to, but the more you work, the most likely you are to get where you want. And the same thing with
yourself
life.
The best chances.
Yeah, the more opportunities you take, the most you're gonna get out of it. If you try nothing, nothing's gonna happen. But if you try 1,000 things, then some of them have to work.
Luck is all about what are the chances you take. Like everybody is lucky in their own way and has luck on their side for certain things. It's all about
if you think luck is a thing.
Yeah,
that's a whole
for sure.
Video on luck. Is luck a thing?
I think that's actually a really good topic. How luck affects success, or like you gotta define success. But like we'll talk about that in a future episode.
Yes.
But regardless, stay healthy.
Yeah, stay healthy. Be well.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Ask Why.
Yeah, tune in next Monday for next episode.
The next episode maybe on luck.
Maybe on luck.
We'll see.
Who knows? We don't even know.
Yeah, we have no idea.
1 week at a time, baby. Catch you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Make sure to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, whatever you
subscribe and like the video.
Yeah. And see you guys next week.
Peace out.
Peace.